Just bear with me a second. Okay. This is a hybrid event, and it's being streamed live on Zoom. So I would therefore like to extend my warm welcome to our international audience for joining us from around the world. Okay. And the conference includes 32 special sessions covering a wide range of exciting topics, including machine learning, Internet of Things, quantum computing, cybersecurity, and ethical and responsible agentic AI. I think many people wrongly assume that academic research is just about ideas that are too far removed from life and papers that nobody ever reads. Yet many of the technologies we use every day actually began as research. Let me give you just a few examples. Research in information retrieval, for example, and ranking systems have resulted in Google search. Many years of research in machine learning, neural networks, and language models have resulted in AI tools such as ChatGPT. In medicine, the mRNA technology used in COVID vaccine was researched for decades before the world actually needed it. Okay. And most of us never think about seamless connectivity. Just to give you an example, for example, Wi-Fi and mobile phones, these technologies were underpinned by years of research in radio waves, antennas, communication systems, and signal processing. It is important that we realize that many people don't really understand the value of research. Nobody knew that studies on radio waves eventually led to Wi-Fi. And nobody knew that research in neural networks would one day create intelligent systems used by millions of people. For example, the next billion-dollar idea may already be sitting in a research paper presented at this conference. And this is also why conferences matter. Conferences are where ideas begin to move. Research sitting inside a paper has value, but it becomes more powerful when people discuss it, challenge it, and build upon it. Conferences accelerate the exchange of knowledge between researchers, industry, and practitioners. They create opportunities for collaboration, feedback, and new perspectives that can shape the future in research. Sometimes a question from the audience changes the direction of research project. Sometimes a discussion during a coffee break leads to a new idea, and sometimes two people from completely different disciplines realizes they are trying to solve the same problem. Conferences are also about networking. Many researchers have an opportunity to collaborate during a conference, during a tea break, lunch break, and it is a forum for networking. A simple introduction after the presentation, for example, shared interests, person sitting next to you today could become a future collaborator, research partner, industrial contact, or lifelong professional connection. Conferences also provide valuable opportunities for students and early career researchers to gain feedback and confidence. Presenting work to others helps refine ideas, while questions from the audience often reveal strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities that may have been not been obvious before. Most importantly, conferences bring people together. And progress usually happens when ideas meet people. This is why conferences matter. And all papers accepted in this conference have undergone rigorous scrutiny and for quality and originality. The proceedings are published, like Richard just said, in Springer, and it's been indexed to Scopus. Authors will have an opportunity to publish a journal paper based on their conferences. So I'd like to thank our keynote speakers, some of whom are not here at the moment. Professor Jennifer George, Professor Nagum Zangosi. I hope I'm pronounced your name correctly. Dr. Kevin Chalmers, Ravinder Singh Sandhu, and we have also Professor Monamita Nandi. I also like to thank many people who've actually contributed in making this conference possible. The people who've reviewed the papers and the committee members. My special thanks goes to conference convener, Dr. Ashish Khanna, who's sitting left of me, who has worked tirelessly to orchestrate the conference happen. I would also like to thank my colleagues, Richa Sharma, Sandra Fernando, who's now at Ravensbourne University, London, Dion, Ranu, Innocent, Shubeshka Shaksham, and my MSc students as well. I also like to extend my sincere thanks to people who've made this conference possible. Chris Lane, Dean of School of Computing and Digital Media, Professor Karim Hussain, who also serves as the university's academic head of knowledge exchange. And tomorrow's session will be purely online. And finally, although we are not expecting a fire drill today, just in case a fire alarm goes off, please make your way safely outside the building. And without further ado, I'd like to pass over the mic to Richa. Richa?
Thank you, Bal. Thank you, Professor Verdi, for setting the stage so wonderfully. Our next speaker has played a pivotal role in bringing this conference together. As the convener of ICDAM 2026, he has been instrumental in shaping the vision and success of this event. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Ashish Khanna from Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Technology, New Delhi. Ashish, the stage is yours.
Thanks, Richa, for inviting me to speak something about the conference. Although wonderfully, Richa and Bal has already has welcomed our respected keynote speakers, and I, on behalf of the Universal Innovator, I would like to start that where the ICDM, that is Data Analytics and Management with Networking theme, where our journey started. We started, the first version of the conference started with Poland with Professor Paul Kowalski and Mr. Aninda Bose from Springer. He gave us the idea around 7 to 8 years back that data analytics is going to be the next buzzword and is the future, and we all can see that how the artificial intelligence is changing the world. So and we started in the COVID era, something like that, and then we find the conference venue as London Metropolitan University, and we started doing the conference where we got a very good team under the able guidance of Professor Balverde, and he is really instrumental in organizing the conference with us, maintaining everything, and his all team members, Dion and Subeshka and Richa, Sandra, Renu, Dion, and if I am forgetting any name, sorry for that. But I cannot forget two very important names, that is Chris and Kareem. So really thanks to you, both of you. Always, Chris is really instrumental in always. I remember that last year when I was coming here, I was also speaking to Kareem also that last year when we arrived, we have a very bad event. That is, if we remember that there was a crash, AI crash, Air India crash was there. So Kareem reminded me that we should be speaking about them, and it was really that people like Chris and Kareem, that the kind of experience they bring into the room, like they are the real guiding force for us. So I really thank to both of you for being there, for always guiding us. And we are here. ICDAM is here in this at London Metropolitan University, straight into the 4th year. So if you are doing one conference at the same venue, then definitely it is more than a team. It becomes a family. And we are growing here, like in numbers And as far as our quality standards, everything we are growing. We have received more than 2,000 papers this year. And our acceptance ratio is far below than 20%. So whoever has got their acceptance definitely need applause. And all the authors which have joined us in offline mode, welcome to you. You means we have received more than from papers from more than 30 to 35 countries, and a lot of authors are here in offline mode, and lot in the new normal, that is after this COVID era, we have this option of joining in online mode. So welcome to those authors who are also in online mode. I would like to thank, as already said by Bal, that all the session chairs, 35 plus session chairs, sessions are going to be executed in coming 2 days. And I really thank to the reviewers. I want to thank my team back in India, Professor Abhishek Sarup, who is also about to speak in a moment. He is my mentor. Mr. Aninda Bose, special thanks to him for always giving us the permission to submit our papers to the very reputed series of Springer LNNS. So after that, there are other team members, Dr. Mulchand Sharma, who is the backbone of the conference, managing everything in online mode, along with Dr. Zamil Ahmed. He was here last year. So always I get to know that if Zamil is watching me, then they hear everyone ask that why Jamil is not coming again and again. So the thing is, definitely he has joined another institute in Saudi Arabia. So next year we will welcome him. And we have we have Dr. Simar and Imtiaz and many other team members are there. Dr. Nisha has arrived from India. She will be taking the sessions. She will be our session chair. So welcome to you also. And now coming to the Universal Innovator. Universal Innovator is not only organizing the conferences. We are into serving the research community by taking out some journals. They are now online. You can see the banner there and where we are. We have our own learning management system, which is free for all. All the faculties can start their courses on that, online courses. So we are also bringing one another this conference management system that will be what I believe is that will be a better version than CMT and EasyChair. It has all and it will be free for the community. You can all, when you are organizing your own conferences, very soon it will be released. So we are releasing this version of CMT. So apart from the conferences, we are also investing our time and energy with our other team members into other activities which are important for research and for the conduction of the conferences. As mentioned by Bal, that the conferences are not only for presenting the paper, its major area is the networking and starting of new ideas. So I really welcome all of you here so that you can meet with the dignitaries, with the experienced personalities over here. You can join them and we can start new collaborations, new initiatives. So thank you very much. This is all from my side. And thank you. Over to Richa.
Thank you, Ashish. Every successful conference needs a strong vision. And our next speaker has been central to shaping that vision for ICDAM 2026. Please welcome Professor Karim Ozan, General Chair of the conference, Senior Professor of Computing and Knowledge Exchange, and a recognized leader in research and innovation at London Metropolitan University. He's also Head of Research and Knowledge Exchange in the School of Computing and Digital Media and University Academic Head of Knowledge Exchange. Over to you.
Thank you, Richard. First of all, good morning, everybody. Is everybody okay? Yeah, you well taken care of? So please ask. My name is Karim Ozan, and as Richard mentioned, I'm the head of, proud to be head of research and knowledge exchange at the School of Computing and Knowledge Exchange. School of Computing and Digital Media, rather, one of those mornings. So As Ashish mentioned, this time last year, we really had the sad news. At least there is no sad news this year, and then hopefully we can start this conference in style. So as usual, I want to make sure I wrote a script this morning, make sure that I will address key areas to promote this conference and make it much better. So it is first a pleasure to be here today with colleagues, student and early career researchers coming together once again for this conference. This event has now been running for am I right? Yeah, it's been running for 4 consecutive years. So reaching 4th year is already an achievement. But I often think that when an activity can be sustained over 4 years or more, it moves beyond being an initiative and becomes a meaningful platform. That's my favorite word. It becomes embedded in the culture of an institution like ours. So I believe we are approaching that point. This conference is increasingly becoming part of the research, knowledge exchange, and enterprise culture of London Met. It is becoming something that colleagues expect, students refer to, and researchers value as an opportunity to share their work and engage with others. The progress over the last 3 years has been very encouraging. The quality of submissions, presentations, and discussion and engagement has improved year after year. Everyone involved should be proud of that achievement. At the same time, we should not become complacent. While, I've got to be honest here, so while quality has improved, there is still more to do if we want to reach a standard we aspire to. The challenge now is not simply to continue the conference, but to enhance it. One way of doing this is by creating more opportunities for collaboration across disciplines and research groups. We should look for ways to run more activities jointly. This is what I mentioned to you early on. Engage a wide range of colleagues and students and create stronger connections between research, knowledge exchange, and enterprise. By working together more effectively, we can increase both our engagement and our productivity. So this conference is also important for our REF environment. REF stands for Research Excellence Framework. Am I right, Bao? So it demonstrates a vibrant research culture, encourages participation, and help build connections across the university. However, while REF is important, quality must remain our primary focus. We should pursue excellence because it creates value and impact, not simply because it contributes to assessment exercises. As we look ahead, we should continue to encourage research and innovation around themes that matter, themes that transform lives. I repeat again, themes that transform lives, support economic growth, and generate real-world and commercial impact. There are the areas where the universities, like ours, can make a distinctive contribution to society. Another important aspect of this conference is networking. Event like this provides an excellent opportunity for our students and early career researcher to communicate their findings, receive feedback, and gain confidence in presenting and communicating their findings. Experiencing the challenge and pressure of presenting to an audience is an important part of professional development in academic growth. Now, finally, I would like to offer one suggestion for future development. Alongside traditional academic outputs, we should encourage more enterprise-oriented outcomes. We should ask ourselves how research can lead to innovation, partnerships, consultancy opportunities, new products, services, and a wider societal impact. Strengthening the dimension would further enhance the value of the conference and align it with our broader ambition at the university. Thank you to everyone who has contributed to making this event possible. I congratulate the organizers, particularly Professor Balverde and Dr. Ashish, also presenters and participants, and I look forward to seeing how the conference continues to grow and evolve in the year ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Karim, for those inspiring words. Our next speaker is a key academic leader within the School of Computing and Digital Media at London Metropolitan University. As Dean, he oversees a diverse portfolio of disciplines, including computer science, communications technology, mathematics, and digital media, helping to shape the next generation of innovators and technology professionals. Please join me in welcoming Chris Lane.
Richa, thank you very much. I'm going to stand over here because I think if I stand here, I can see everybody and there'll be no pillars between me and the audience. Thank you very much for that welcome, and it's great to hear the speakers so far. I thought that the comments that we just heard from Bal about the importance of research in the way that it links with everyday life was a really great way of starting the conference, and I think it resonates with some of the things that I wanted to say. You know, Bal, you said academic research can be seen as removed from everyday life, but actually it results in huge impact on ordinary people's lives. Okay, so I don't know if you've seen this that's sitting on your tables. It's our school magazine called Code, and actually it celebrates the fact that we are top of the league. You might see there's a little opening address from me that says we're top of the league. And that's because London Met is top of the league in the UK for something called value added, according to the Guardian newspaper. And value added is the way in which we take our students with their starting points in terms of their academic credentials, and we move them further than any other university in the UK, with the exception of Goldsmiths University, by the way, who are also at the top of the league table with us. So we're joint top with Goldsmiths for value added. And, you know, I think that speaks so much about our values as an institution. Now, you know, there is another, if you look out of the window, another near neighbor of ours who are also top of the league. And so some people have criticized me for putting one particular football team ahead of all the rest in our recent issue of the magazine, but I think that you'll appreciate that it was a very special day. If you turn to page 22, it was a special day when that other table-topping institution, which actually is a unicorn, Arsenal are a unicorn as a company, and we work very closely with them, celebrated their own success. So I think the things that are happening in the news are important, and actually, Ashish, you referenced the sad events in Ahmedabad in Air India Flight 171, which we recognised when it happened, that coincided with our conference, and obviously it was a terrible event which connected India and the UK because the flight was travelling to Gatwick. But I think that I wanted to draw your attention to the importance of staying abreast of what's happening in the world. I think migration is a huge feature of the debates that happen in contemporary society. And, you know, there are 40 people who've come to the UK today in this room who've, you know, temporarily migrated. And, you know, we wouldn't be having this conference if it wasn't for that richness that comes from, you know, celebrating the diversity of people coming together and connecting over things that are important. And I think that, you know, migration is increasingly under the microscope internationally in many countries. And, there have been recent tragic events in the UK where migrants have been completely falsely blamed for terrible things that have happened, or migration itself has been blamed. And actually, we know, I think we all know, don't we, that that has been stirred up by people who lead the world-leading businesses in AI. Somebody in particular who's in the news today, because we know SpaceX is having its IPO today. It's going to enter the top 10 in terms of companies with a market capitalization over $1 trillion. It's going to make its owner the richest, well, he's already the richest person in the world, but the first trillionaire. And, all of this is based on a business proposition that is linked to the possibilities of AI. And, the SpaceX and XAI proposition is that they'll build data centers in space powered by solar power, that will lead to potentially tremendous new revenues and turn a company that's actually currently loss-making into one that will make money. So I think, being aware of what's happening out there in the world really matters, and seeing the connection between some of the social forces that we're facing, the negative social forces that we're facing, and the developments in technology and the role we play in shaping that technology for social good is something that I think should be on all of our minds as we embark on the work that you're doing today in this conference. I was listening to Antonio Gracias this morning, who is Elon Musk's best friend, and stands to make 100 billion out of the flotation today. And he said that Elon Musk was a genius, of the kind that is similar to Michelangelo, the great Renaissance artist. And, that may or may not be true, I don't know. But what I think matters is teams. I think in all endeavors, I don't think it's the people who are in leadership positions that really count. And venture capitalists themselves would normally say this. When they invest in a new business idea, they're not really investing in the idea because venture ideas change. What they're investing in is a group of people who've come together, who are able to work together and share their respective strengths and mitigate the weaknesses of the team. And I think that, again, is something that Ashish, I think it was you who, maybe it was Kareem, somebody was saying, think about what you're going to do today, and maybe it was you, Bal, who you're sitting next to today, who may become a collaborator in the future. So let's really think about diversity and teams as the thing that will power us into a humane technology in the future. I think you're so well placed to take that ideal forward. I think we should be aware that we're facing backlashes against AI. I was just hearing in the news this morning that it's become commonplace in commencement and graduation events in universities for the leaders of tech companies who are making commencement speeches to be booed, and AI itself to be booed by young people. So, we're facing really interesting times in terms of public perceptions of technology. And again, it's for us to change that narrative, I think, and you can do that today. So I think I'd like to end by saying, I want to commend you for your commitment to the search for scientific truth. And that's what we should base our future decisions on, not, assertions that are unevidenced. And, scientific research of the kind that you're doing is so vital and important. And, I really want to commend you for your involvement in that work. So with that said, I'll close my comments there, and I wish you a really successful day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. That was very inspiring, very encouraging for all our young researchers and presenters who are here today. And it's now my pleasure to invite Dr. Abhishek Swarup, who will be joining us online. I just want to make sure that he's there and he can hear me.
Yeah, I am there.
Okay, brilliant. Dr. Swarup serves as head of the Department of Information Technology at Bhagwan Parashuram Institute of Technology and has played an important role in supporting ICDAM 2026 as conference chair. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Abhishek Swarup. Dr.
Thank you, Dr. Richa. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Distinguished guests, respected keynote speakers, esteemed members of the organizing committee, reviewers, authors, and participants from around the world. Good morning and good afternoon. Good morning in London and good afternoon in Delhi. It's my great honor and privilege to address you today as the publication chair of ICDAM 2026. On behalf of the publication team, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all participants joining us for this prestigious conference. The overwhelming response received for ICDM 2026 reflects the growing significance of research and innovation in the field of data analytics and its multidisciplinary applications. This year, we witnessed an extraordinary level of participation from the global research community. We received more than 2,000 paper submissions from researchers, academicians, industry professionals, and students. What makes this achievement even more remarkable is the truly international nature of the conference, with a contribution coming from 25 different countries across the globe. The publication process for a conference of this scale is both challenging and rewarding. Maintaining the highest standards of academic quality and integrity has been our foremost priority. Every submitted manuscript underwent a rigorous peer review process conducted by an outstanding panel of reviewers and domain experts. Their dedication, expertise, and commitment ensured a fair, transparent, and thorough evaluation of each submission. Due to the highly competitive nature of the conference and our commitment to publishing only high-quality research, less than 20% of the submitted papers were ultimately accepted for presentation and publication. This selective acceptance rate reflects not only the excellence of the accepted papers, but also the increasing competitiveness and prestige of ICDAM as an international research forum. I would like to congratulate all the authors whose papers have been accepted. Your hard work, innovative ideas, and valuable contributions have helped shape an exceptional technical program for this conference. At the same time, I would also like to acknowledge the efforts of those authors whose papers could not be accommodated this year. The quality of submissions was exceptionally high, and many excellent works faced intense competition during the review process. We sincerely encourage you to continue your research endeavors and participate in future editions of ICDM. I would also like to express my heartfelt gratitude to our reviewers, track chairs, technical program committee members, and publication team. Their countless hours of careful evaluation, constructive feedback, and meticulous coordination made this publication process possible. Without their dedication and professionalism, achieving the quality standards of ICDAM 2026 would not have been possible. As we gather here today, we celebrate not only the accepted papers, but also the spirit of global collaboration that brought together researchers from 25 countries. Conferences such as ICDAM serve as a platform where ideas transcend geographical boundaries, fostering innovation, knowledge exchange, and future partnership. I am confident that research presented during this conference will inspire new directions, stimulate meaningful discussions, and contribute significantly to the advancement in academia, industry, and society. Thank you all for your valuable contributions and participation. I wish you a productive, enriching, and memorable experience at ICDM 2026. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Swaroop, for your valuable insights. And thank you for joining us from so far. As we conclude the opening segment of the conference, I would like to invite back on stage Chris Lane for a vote of thanks. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chris Lane once again.
Richa, thank you so much. So yes, I would just like to thank all of those who've helped to make the conference a reality. In particular, I wanted to highlight WSG, from Poland, SCCW and Porto Alegre Polytechnic from Portugal, our sponsors Google and Cognizant, One API, and of course, really important, our connection in this conference with Springer. So could I just ask us all to put our hands together to congratulate all of the organisers, or thank all the organisers and our sponsors. The conference organising committee, of course, in particular, I think they've already been mentioned, but Ashish and Bal have been the drivers of the conference. So thank you very much.
Yes, now we would open the proceedings of the conference. So if we could, so they are already on the dais. Thank you, everyone. And now I would like to call Ashish to felicitate Dr. Bal here. Ashish, could I ask you to just wait? Could I ask Chris to come on stage and Ashish to present a moment to Chris? And now could I ask Professor Bal to come and felicitate Kareem, please, Dr. Bal, Bal, could I request you to just stay here for a moment? And could I ask Professor Bal to facilitate Dr. Ashish Khanna? And could I please ask Dr. Ashish Khanna to facilitate Dr. Jennifer George, Professor Dr. Jennifer George? Could I ask Chris to please come and help facilitate Dr. Ravinder Singh Zandu? And now could I request Chris to facilitate Dr. Nilgun? Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this. Now we will move on to the next chapter, which is the most exciting part of the conference, which is our keynote session. So, but before that, we'll have a short break.
Speakers are coming in next.
So yes, keynote speakers come in next. So we will help you. The tables, etc.
Are we moving these?
The participants who are connected through an online mode are requested to be here in the meeting. After 15 to 20 minutes, we'll start with the keynote sessions. I request all the online participants be here in the meeting. After 15 to 20 minutes, we'll be starting soon with the keynote sessions.
My class one. I know this computer.
I request to please unmute. You are on mute.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes. That's okay.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so we are moving on to the most exciting part of the conference, which is our keynote session. And we have got some distinguished leaders, researchers, and innovators here who are here to help us with this. And today we are privileged to hear from researchers, innovators, and distinguished leaders who are helping define the future of technology, education, artificial intelligence, and digital transformation. We have 5 keynote talks. Each keynote presentation will last approximately 20 to 25 minutes. We'll have a break once they're done. So in the afternoon, there'll be 2 parallel sessions running. One of the sessions will be in this room and the other one in TM 301, which is a room next door. So let's begin our keynote journey. Our first keynote speaker is someone whose work is consistently championed the idea that technology should be accessible, inclusive, and empowering for everyone. So we have Professor Jennifer George. She's a professor of computing at Goldsmiths, University of London, and an internationally recognized advocate for inclusion, accessibility, and excellence in education. Her contribution to enhancing the student experience have earned national recognition, including the prestigious National Teaching Fellowship. Her research explores the fascinating intersection of human-computer interaction, digital culture, accessibility, and learning innovation. Today, she brings a wealth of experience and insights to our conference. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm ICDAM welcome to Professor Jennifer George.
Okay, thank you very much. And I was really encouraged when I was flicking through that, the Code magazine, that you did have some research here on inclusive learning that looked, with adaptive learning and assistive technology, which was fascinating. And I'd really like to learn a bit more about that. So what I've got here is, I know I've got 20 minutes, so I am not going to go really deep into the kind of research I do, but I thought I'd share some stories from the data. It was another encouraging introduction I had was what matters is how when we use AI or data, the actual impact we have and what it means to humans. So as I was preparing for this session, I spent some time looking at what are the stories that come up when we really do the research work. As part of the introduction I received, there was a lot on the work I did, but many of you here, or if not all of you here, maybe from a research background. And I am from a scholarship background. Some of you might know what that means. So largely my work focuses on the impact case studies or impact work that contributes to the research from a teaching and learning perspective. And my work is driven by removing barriers to learning, not only in higher education, and I'll speak a bit about why it goes beyond that. It started with university in the UK, but it extends to abroad internationally. And also you'd see why it needs to start not just in secondary school before they get there, to remove the barriers for them to get there, primary school, and sometimes even earlier. So I'm just going to use one example of the work I've been doing. So we launched something called 5 Minutes of Digital Inclusion using a small pedagogic grant I received. This is the second iteration of it. This was in partnership with another university in Singapore. If you are interested in checking out the course, I've got the QR code here. And I have also got the QR code on the last slide. So if you want to really hear me out before deciding, do I want to even bother with this, you can wait for the last slide as well. So the structure is 5 minutes of content. As educators, what is it that we can do in our practice to remove barriers for those who are learning? Very quickly, I've found one of the stories is that very quickly this narrative turns into, if you are disabled, you might find this useful. Maybe so, but the most important thing is what are we doing as a community to remove barriers for those with disabilities? This 5 minute struck per day structure is delivered across 25 weekdays, so 5 weeks. But all the content's available and you can access all 25 videos in one go if you would rather sit down for about 3 odd hours and finish the whole thing. That's also available to you. So it provides flexibility. It's delivered in 3 languages. And if you complete, and they are in themes, I'll walk you through the topics. If you complete 5 of those videos and pass the test, you get a digital badge for participation, knowledge, achievement as well. We chose to use the Open University platform because they've got a feature where you can just access the content without signing up, and you can register if you want to achieve the badges as well. The course has been provided free because we wanted to reach audiences across the world, and we wanted it to be free. And inclusion and accessibility, I strongly believe, should be free. So this is a type of micro-learning. We had 5 weeks. The themes are foundations of understanding what is digital inclusion, basic understanding of what disabilities are, sensory impairment. Some of these concepts are quite new when you look at the global picture. Week 2, we spent explaining assistive tech, different types, what's used for what. So text to speech to augmented communication. How do you use AI? And I know I've heard that mentioned as well. And how do you do personalized learning? So I'll be using one of those examples there to look at, expand further later on. Week 3 is spent looking at the technical side of things. What does the World Content Accessibility Guidelines say? What are the legal requirements in the UK, EU, America? And then you kind of get stuck. The rest of the world doesn't actually have these standard legislated and monitored the same way. When you really look at it carefully, you'll find that it's there in the legislation, but people just don't know what to do with that. So how do we understand and implement and make education more inclusive for more people? 4th week, we spent on the environment. That is setting up digital learning spaces and what that could look like as, again, educators, regardless of your teaching context. Week 5, we look at pedagogy. What is universal design for learning, and how do we manage, or what could potentially be an alternative assessments, and how can digital technology scaffold that learning? So now I'm moving on to the data. So we took a cutoff. The first cutoff was 50 registrations. So we just looked at that. And at that key point, it's gone beyond that now, but this was the snapshot that we took. We had the universities across the UK, University of Birmingham, Manchester Met, Flinders, and then we also had University of Vavuniya, that's in Sri Lanka. Other international organizations were BCAS, or British College of Applied Studies in Sri Lanka, and Algebra in Croatia. We also had public sector organizations like the Council and JISC participants in that same group. So this is where the statistics or the numbers and the data become quite interesting. So because the platform provides variation, so you can access the videos and the assessment without registering if you don't want to give your data to somebody. If you want a digital badge, of course, you need to give your name and details and actually pass the test. So we had a peak. So the very first day, so when I say views, it means how many people just watched the first day of video, first 5 minutes. And that was, we started with 260 there. And then you would find the official registrations, which is where we took the snapshot, was 50. So there were many who wanted to see it before they actually signed up, which is what we expected. And day one, how many actually completed? You suddenly see 66% of users, viewers, sign up and then register and then complete. By day 3, you will see the numbers stabilizing. So we had 12 to 17 users from then onwards, continuing till the end. So the final completion rate was only 24%. However, you will find that the views, so this adds more complexity to the data. So day one, I said the number of people who looked at it were 260 people interested in digital inclusion. But the assessment, we found that many users went straight to the assessment and 632 attempts were made at the assessment, which was quite interesting because it's 3 times the number of people who viewed the first video. And it gives you a picture of how people want to learn. They want to learn to see, how much do I know now? Can I just pass this without bothering to watch the videos? And then the number of times they attempt that test. So, which is okay, because that's also a way of learning. And that is called mastery-based success in failure. And 3 participants, just examples. First person tries it first time, 2 out of 10, and 5 attempts to get it to 7 out of 10, which is the minimum you need to get to pass the assessment. And participant 3 took 6 minutes altogether, 3 out of 10 to 8 out of 10. So because it gives you live feedback, that's an alternative way of learning the same content as well. What we are looking for is evidence that you have actually understood the content. It doesn't matter how many times you take it. Third attempt, 5 out of 10, and gets, clean sweep, 7 minutes. And that was another story there. So time to completion was another interesting thing. How much time? Now, this is a tricky one because many of us open a tab, sign in, and leave it. So average enrollment, people just sitting on a page, was over 100 hours. Fastest knowledge check, which is the assessment, somebody just trying to click everything and seeing, can I pass this, was 1 minute, 37 seconds. And we can see the elapsed time there. One participant took 40 days to complete. It's 3 hours of content. One person tried, 58 minutes, 1 attempt right through. And the person who took the efficiency route, 28 minutes, 44 minutes. There were 2 different participants. They got through the entire course, got their badges and left. Because it does give you the option to, I know this topic, I don't need to watch it. You can simply pick the topics you don't know, do those, you collect your knowledge, pass the test, and move on. So that's another aspect of the learning. So this is, another story that was happening in the background is one of the our partners were in Singapore. But our audience, I also have partnerships where I've been helping set up inclusion or disability support centers in universities where there weren't one. So one university was University of Vavuniya in Sri Lanka, and another one was Kelaniya University in Sri Lanka as well. So Vavuniya wanted to target and focus on a particular group of users. So you can look it up on Google Maps where it is. It's quite close to where there was a civil war. So there is a higher population of disabled students who are now coming in, who were affected by the war 15 years ago, let's say, as children, who are now coming into university. Several orphanages with disabled people who are trying to learn, and social communities like whether it is the police or a hospital or a pharmacy or a community center, none of them are familiar with inclusive technologies. Most people have a mobile phone, a smartphone that they are not sure of how to use. So the approach was not giving them a QR code like I was able to do here. The approach was actually going out to these people, talking about this is something you have and that in your hand, it's powerful. How can we explain what it does and create an opportunity for you to learn in your time? That revealed more barriers. So what that meant was we're going to need help. So what the University of Vavuniya lead in this, for the Disability Center did was she got all of these people in one room. So she managed to get 25 people in one room at the university and book the computer lab. And then she said they don't even know how to register. A digital badge doesn't mean anything at this point. So many of them did follow the course. So they showed up on the numbers, but we didn't know who they were. We could trace the YouTube video locations. Other than that, they sent usernames, passwords, or ideal passwords. So I had to sign them up manually and then give them access. So why I'm saying this is, so that's just a little bit of background of how people really use a service that you provide in a completely different context. And that was also one of the reasons why we did the translation in a local language. So the university was responsible for translating it in a way that would be understood by those group of people. So again, a bit more context. If this is in the UK, what tech do we use as a standard to remove some barriers? So physical impairment, you can have an eye gaze tracker to a speech to text device or a sip and puff device or a wheelchair. Deaf or serious hearing impairment, you can always have speech to text captions. You can have transcripts, you can have other visual cues instead of sound. If you're blind or seriously visual impaired, you can use screen readers. Braille still does exist in some pockets, although it's been decreasing over the decades now. Vibration and any other kind of tactile feedback. Learning difficulty as a standard, whether you have a learning difficulty or not, we all try to use spell checkers and get help from, personalized learning help from AI tools. Sometimes we forget even the fact that we have had spell checker within a software like Microsoft Word or in PowerPoint, something suggesting the type of design you can do. It's been around for a while. It's just got bigger. So we've been using this and other executive functioning where you can have calendar reminders, even to help with memory, or we can have Google or an Alexa devices. Same barriers in the University of Vavuniya context. So I've been there a couple of times so that I could actually see in person what the challenges were. Physical impairment, even if you had a wheelchair, the roads were not built for the wheelchair, so you'll damage them. And once you get to a location, there were no toilet facilities if they needed any for wheelchair users. There was also, because lifts were not thought of on time when these buildings were set up, they were relying on human support workers to carry them up and down the stairs for lectures. If you are deaf, the British Sign Language, okay, I'm not going to call it British Sign Language, the local sign language vocabulary lasted up to year 8. And which means if you are deaf, you are unlikely to go through education past that point. So don't worry about university there. And there's such a very low number of people who will be able to communicate beyond that level or hold jobs. So that became a huge bottleneck. If you're blind or have serious visual impairment, this is one place where you can. I was able to see a lot of growth. So there were students who were able to get through to universities. There's a blind school. There are 2 blind schools in Sri Lanka. For the whole country, there are 2 schools. If you manage to get there, there are very few people who manage to get through to university. So they're still reliant on Braille and on human readers who will read text for you. You need to try and hold it in your brain. And that's how you sit exams as well. So the amount of pressure on blind individuals, because they just don't trust computers or speech to text or text to speech devices yet. Recently, the current government has opened access to disabled learners to all subjects. It used to be only for humanities. So most of them did a language because they'd figured out how to read and nothing more. So now they are thinking outside the box, how can we make education accessible to those with disabilities beyond languages as well? So if you have a learning disability, you're unlikely to get through school anyway, so you drop out by the time you're in your primary school. Recently, some schools have started establishing special education units. And if you can afford to go to those schools, then you might have a chance. So there's a huge population that's still left behind. Executive functions are similar. Organizing yourself. If you continuously making a mess of things and you cannot keep yourself organized, then you are likely to not get through school as well. You fall behind at some point. Memory, you might get through school, but not very well. The last one was an addition. I did not add that to the UK. Digital literacy and Wi-Fi was a huge barrier, and that is why we had to bring in people, have location-based focused sessions with support to see how can we actually improve some of the things you can do and build on what you already have. Some of the other work we've done, I'll briefly mention because I have a couple of minutes, is we've started collaboration with the university to work on a national sign language course. So it's not divided by the local languages spoken. We are trying to build a local language, sign language, that will enable deaf learners to progress all the way to university. We are also trying to look at how can we support STEM subjects first, particularly computer science is one of the subjects that are actually quite easy to manage if you are visually impaired or rely on a screen reader. So I'm going to just leave you with some final thoughts about something that was mentioned earlier as well, which is what does it mean to be human in an AI context? We are using AI to support some of the digital inclusion areas of work. So we are able to process multiple sources of resources at the same time in a way that humans cannot do. So it saves time. You can use it to produce self-help guides and scaffold your own learning. And you can also create your own stretch and challenge if you find what's in class quite easy to do. There are also downsides when you start relying increasingly on tech. You start losing your own planning skills and executive functioning skills, and opportunity for those to be developed might be lost. Although at the other side is that they do build or remove that if that was a barrier. In the local context, we observed that those who used to do the translation verbally, their jobs were lost because AI was translating live, which is great, because the next point I've got there is you can also learn languages that aren't available locally. So it does have a human impact. Another thing was some of the human relationships. So if you would have had an individual supporting someone with a disability, you start replacing that human connection with AI gradually. So a few things to think about there, and because there are two sides to everything, and it is a challenging space to navigate while we do, but it is still important for us to do that respectfully. Okay, so that brings me nicely to the end of what I was going to share with you today. Is a little bit about the project 5 Minutes of Digital Literacy, digital inclusion, some stories behind the data, the impact of AI possible impact of AI in that community, and some of the ethical considerations that may be worth considering. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jennifer George. That was a very interesting presentation. And you can network with Dr. George later during lunchtime and ask more questions. Moving on to the next keynote speaker. It's my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Nilgun. She's an assistant professor at the Department of Information Systems and Technologies at Burda Mehmet Akif Ersoy University's Golshir School of Applied Sciences. Her research sits at the exciting intersection of AI and its real-world applications, particularly in healthcare, computer vision, and intelligent decision support systems. She is currently undertaking a prestigious postdoctoral fellowship at the University of Nottingham, supported by the highly competitive TÜBİTAK 2219 International Postdoctoral Research Fellowship, where she continues to advance cutting-edge research in AI and machine learning. What particularly distinguishes her work is a commitment not only to developing highly accurate deep learning models, but also to making them transparent, interpretable, and trustworthy. Her research seeks to bridge the gap between sophisticated AI algorithms and the clinicians and practitioners who depend on them, helping to ensure that artificial intelligence can be both powerful and practical in real-world settings. Please join me to give a warm welcome to Dr. Nilgun.
All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning. For the next half hour, actually 20 minutes, I want to convince you of one idea that's really important nowadays. In high stakes AI, accuracy is the easy part. We can find good accuracy points, good accuracy levels. But the hard part is this, can the model tell us why? Why this is so important? Why we get this kind of accuracy, F1 or metric correlation coefficient performance level? Why we can get this kind of numbers? We have to focus on this 20 minutes talk. First of all, I want to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Nilgün Şengöz. I'm assistant professor doctor at Burdur Mehmet Akif Ersoy University in Turkey. But by the way, from March, I started my postdoctoral researcher at University of Nottingham with provision with Professor Ender Özcan, and we are researching LLM models, optimization, quantum computing, and AI part. And I have focus on three papers that we will focus. And these papers, when we compare the areas, is really different. But the same thing is about explainable. What is that? If you look at the pictures that I show on the presentation, take 10 seconds and look at both images. One is healthy intense teen, and the other is pertuberculosis, right? When I show the pictures to pathologists, just 3 of 10 pathologists assumed that this is pertuberculosis. This is not. It's this huge misunderstanding, or this huge part that's what we are talking about. And but when I doing my deep learning models that I will show you later, and I get 98% average that this is the diseased one, and this is not the diseased one. But we must ask one question, that accurate compared to what? The gap is the whole talk. Deep networks, as you know, are some of the best black box models ever built. And they give an answer. They don't give a reason. They give good answers for our research. But how? You get performance level, high accuracy, but how? This is the really good thing that we have to focus on. For example, the picture that I show you. A pathologist can understand which cell is the diseased one, which is not. But when I doing our research and getting high accuracy, we don't know. This is the same focus, the deep learning on or not. And it's a gamble. Really, it's a gamble. We get good accuracies, we get good performance metrics, but is that really happening? Is that really the solver? How can we trust the system? And AI exactly where it could help the most, but there is a paradox. Accuracy, explainability paradox. When we want most accurate models are the least transparent, like deep learning. like XGBoost, like the other models. Now we have transformers models, we have quantum models. We are searching about this. And the most transparent models are the least accurate. When we get back to 2000s or 80s, trees, nearest neighborhood, KNN models, and the other support vector machine models, these are most accuracy, most explainability, interpretability models. But in today, we have lots of data, as you know. And we have to find good reason, we have to find good pattern to run the system. And normally, this paradox, they say you have to choose one. Which one? Accuracy is important or explainability is the important? And I say that we have to focus the maximum part of this goal. We have to focus more accurate models, and we have to focus on explainable, interpretable models. We have to solve this problem. Before three cases, sorry, let me explain why this question is urgent now. It was not always urgent. Three things came together. First, capability, as you know, since the deep learning breakthrough in 2012, and our most powerful models became our least transparent, right? And second stakes, AI moved into medicine, finance, and defense. Sorry. And these cost lives, money, and the economy. These sectors are really important for us, for the whole world. And third one is law. The EU, European Union AI Act now treats many high-stakes use like clinical decision support as high risk. It requires transparency and human oversight. The core duties are now being faced in over 2027 and 2028. So explainability is no longer just a research topic. It's becoming a condition for using AI at all. Whatever we do, it doesn't matter. Computer vision, it doesn't matter. Optimization, it doesn't matter. Timetabling, it doesn't matter at all. Whatever we do, when we are dealing with deep learning models, we have to explain it. We are researchers, right? And when we talk about, I got 98% accuracy or F1 metric or recall, whatever. We can understand us easily. But when we talk about a doctor or another lawyer, another person who doesn't relate these AI things, performance metrics, doesn't understand, we have to explain these metrics clearly. Okay? That's why EU will law arrived. And as I've said before, explainability is not new. It's like pendulum swinging back and forth. And the first AI, the expert system of the 80s, were clear by design. Because we have small data, hardware is limited, and we can easily understand what's going on, all the parts. But then in 2012, deep learning traded that clarity for accuracy. And the field discovered that black box problem after the 2012. Around 2015 and 16, the problem got a name and plan, methods like LIM and the DARPA ZAI program. As you know, the internet is first discovered at DARPA. And now DARPA is giving some rules, decides some rules about explainable AI. And in 2017, the main tools arrived, GradCam, SHAP, and Attention. And by 2019, researchers like Rudin were already pushing back that they asked this, explaining a black box really good enough? Is that what we are talking? And now we are in the regulation area. My work is this at the right moment, or at the end of this timeline. And there are two models that postdoc explain from outside, that we run the model, and then we explain what's going on. And intrinsic, that's inside the model. And postdoc methods explain a finished model from the outside, GradCam for images. Like I will show you, I guess, the next slide. And SHAP and LIM also for features, for feature extraction. Intrinsic methods build the explanation inside the model. Attention is the clearest example. This is not a list of variables. It's a toolkit. The right tool depends on the question and the stakes. I choose a different tool in each of my 3 fields, but I reach the same destination. And I want to be honest that the tools that I use are debated. Respecting an expert audience means naming the debates, not hiding them. There are 2 big ones. First, faithfulness. And heat map can look perfectly right and still have nothing to do with what the model actually computed. And some studies showed that certain maps barely change even when you randomize the model, and all the explanation part is just gone. And what we're going to do? How can we trust? And second, deeper debate, a strong view, mostly from Cynthia Rudin, says we shouldn't explain black box in high-stake case at all. Instead, we should use models that are clear by design. The field has not settled this. I will not present this debate away. I take a side in both, and I will defend it with evidence, not just opinion. Explanatory is not a feature. In high-stakes AI is the precondition of trust. This is really important for us because when we are dealing medical problems, it costs their lives. Paratuberculosis is seen in animals, but affects humans. When we eat their meats or drink their milk, we affect. It's a long-term infection in animals, like cattle and sheep. No vaccine, there is no vaccine, there is no treatment. And no effective treatment is really important. The blood tests give many false positives. So diagnosis depends on the pathologist's eye. And we have to believe the pathologist is right or not. But I will show you. The first presentation, I show you 3 of 10. Just know the diseased one. And this is exactly the kind of place AI should help. The real question is whether anyone will trust it enough to let it. I gathered this is important paper that's published in 2022 or 23. I really don't remember. SCI paper. And we gathered the original data set. You cannot see or download public. I worked with pathologists at Burdur Mehmet Akif Ersoy University Veterinary Medicine Department. We gathered 520 microscopic images and 3 architectures compared that are CNN, ResNet 50, and VGG 16. And we get 0.98 accuracy. Good. But pathologists ask me, what does it mean? Accuracy is good. Okay, but what does it mean? We applied GradCam to best model that we have. And no retraining, just a window that the final layer looks at, okay? And as you can see. And here's the moment that matters. The heat maps light up on the same regions a pathologist would circle by hand. This is the main thing that we want to reach. The pathologist just circle on the image, microscopic images. These are the defective cells. And when I applied GradCam method, at the same cells that diseased, that's circled by the GradCam method. That says, okay then, we just reached a level. So I can explain the pathologies that you just circle the diseased one, and my system just found the one, and you can trust it. But I don't stop there. I mean, I have most of the papers stop at the heat map part, but I don't stop. We didn't. We ran really trust study with 10 pathologists that the department have just only 10 pathologists using 2 test survey tools. And across the full sample, trust scored 4.33 and satisfaction is 3.51 with a strong positive link between them. I don't know, maybe you remember in Chinese, there is a competition that maybe 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I really don't remember, that all the doctors are in the same room and the models, CNN models, are the other room. They give the pictures which you decide which diseased one, which is not. And but there are a lot of doctors in Chinese. I don't know, maybe 100 or more, I don't know. But I can just only take this study, 10 people, but we can have good results as well. The second, detecting rotten fruit. This is another area. And we use another explainable model. Different field, same shape of problem. About 1/3 of all food products is lost. That's around $1 trillion a year. On a sorting line, 1 missed rotten fruit can spoil a whole crate. Here the cost is money, not a life. But the need for a trustworthy, checkable decision is exactly the same. 5 minutes. Okay, I will. Quick. One single model is his ceiling, and we combine 2 VGG 16 pulls out the features. Then we apply XGBoost. Then we I have to take this. We apply not GradCam, SHAP and LIM. SHAP gives the global view, which features drive the model across the whole data set. LIM gives the local view, why this one fruit was called fresh, which features pushed for it and which pushed against, global pattern and local reason side by side. And as you can see, in case 1, and we explained where the model looked in SHAP global. In case 2, we explain which features is weighted. Same goal, different tool, because the model demanded it. And the last one that published just recently, Camouflaged object detection is about defense sector, the hardest case, okay? But let me explain that camouflage exists for one reason: to make an object blend into the background, low contrast, similar texture, similar color. Also, military images are rare and restricted, and the misdetection costs human lives. So my logic is simple. If explainable AI can work here, it can work anywhere. Here I choose a different approach. Instead of explaining just these two areas, I use post-hoc models. Okay, GradCam, Shapley, these are post-hoc. And first of all, I've done all the algorithms. Then I applied them. But I built the explanation into the model itself. I used attention gates inside a UNet with a ResNet 50 backbone. And I also used CLEA, for hyperparameters to pull faint edges of the background. The attention mechanism turns down the noise and turns up the target. So explanation and computation become the same single act. So attention unit gave the sharpest boundaries and intersection over unit, the 92%. You want this when drawing the exact shape is the goal. The unit plus version gave the highest accuracy, 98%. You want this when classifying is the goal. There's two different kind of things that I'm talking about. So the honest engineering answer is not to use my model. It is tell me what your mission can tolerate, and I will tell you which trade-off to take. And these are the important ones. I applied, that I mentioned, different areas, but the same problem. Can I explain the model? So explainability is precondition of trust. I have to be quick because I just I need to be quick. And the question is no longer is the machine right. It is, can it show us why? Why it is important? Why the machine can focus on what I focus on? This is the important one. And thank you for listening to me. And you can reach my nilgunsangos.com, my website. And I don't know, you see my email address, but you can reach my social media accounts. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Dr. Nilgun, for a very fascinating presentation. I'm sure there'll be lots of questions on that because there are lots of interest in AI at the moment. We have any questions? We have time for one question.
Thank you. It differs. Actually, when I compare three models, we have three fields that we have to focus on. We have to choose which model is the best for our models, our problem. GradCam is for pathologists, SHAP and LIM for the agriculture, and defense sector is not, we cannot use post-hoc models. We have to build the insight in the model. Which part is important? The problem is what you want, okay? And when I pictured the trade-off model, we have to build a new model that's most explainable and most accuracy, okay? And say that, is that clear or not? Okay, Okay, I will talk to you in lunch, I guess. Okay, then. If you have any question, we can talk later. Don't worry. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, thank you for your answer. And you can carry on with the conversation during lunch break.
Yeah.
Next, we have so it's my great pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Kevin Chalmers. Kevin is the Executive Dean of the School of Computing, Architecture and Emerging Technologies at Ravensbourne University, London, where he also leads on the student journey and further education strategy. Prior to his role as Deputy Dean at the University of Roehampton, he led the development of innovative computing programs that transformed the subject area. Under his leadership, student enrollment grew by an impressive 800% in a single year, and over the following 5 years, making computing the second largest subject area in Roehampton. Kevin is also a highly respected leader within the computing profession. He currently serves as Vice President of the British Computer Society and holds leadership roles within the Council of Professors and Heads of Computing. In addition, he contributes to a range of working groups and committees across the British Computer Society, the Engineering Council, and other professional bodies. A passionate advocate for IT professionalism, curriculum innovation, and excellence in computing education, Kevin is committed to strengthening the links between academia and industry and helping in shape global standards for computing education. Please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Professor Kevin Chalmers.
I'm only a doctor, by the way. I'm not. I probably could apply. Yeah. Everyone. Just oh, I need to use a microphone. We're just trying to finalize. Should be there. I mean, it's picking up. Oh. Not being very happy. Yep. Let's see what happens when we start. One of the screens is a bit wonky. If you all look at the middle one, that's where the actual information is. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for inviting me along. I've put all sorts of things. I don't normally put all the different things into my my title there. I normally just, I'm Kevin. Yeah, okay, I've got all these things. But I think given what I'm going to talk about today, I thought it was probably quite useful because I'm talking about professionalism and data AI. So data and AI. So I have a whole bunch of bits and pieces that I do in various guises. I'm not sure I do it all as well as I could because I'm probably overdoing things, but there you are. First, got a whole bunch of very professional, I hope, data people here who really know what they're talking about, etc. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a test. So I'm wanting you to process this in your sort of professional opinion for me. So given this data, this is a bit of a membership data snapshot. Can you tell me who gets paid the most, who lives furthest from here, and if there's any correlation, please? So just do that processing for me quickly. Anyone? Eric? Yeah? Okay. Any correlation? Do you live far away? Do you get paid more or less? Anything you think? Any? It's fine. I mean, I guess doing it by eye is a problem. But, you know, well done. Well done, all of you. So we are now all liable under GDPR because I asked you to, in your professional opinion, to process some data for me. I am the data controller, and every single person here didn't flag up anything at all. Was that real data? Does anyone want to guess if that was real data? It was synthetic because I'm not that bad as a data controller, but nobody here questioned this at all. At all. And I asked in your professional opinion, which means actually as people that have a role that you can process data. So I, as a data controller, I've just handed out data, but you have now all become data processors under GDPR. Does everyone know what a data processor is and your liabilities as a data processor? Because you have them. Equally, any data leaks, data breaches, anything goes on, etc. You can have subject access requests, etc. You have now become this person. And I guess this is kind of trying to get a little bit at the heart of what I'm talking about, or what I'm trying to pitch a little bit, and why professionalism and why understanding your professional requirements of what you do as an individual is quite important. So I've got another question. Who here is a member of a professional body? BCS, ACM, IEEE, you name it. There's the IEEE, other hands go up. You know, we have it all there. So quite a few people not, okay? So that's good, sort of, I guess. So does anyone know what a professional body is, actually? Go for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's a fairly good one. I think one of the challenges, and so I sit as it says, I'm a vice president at BCS. I am talking as a Ravensbourne person, just to clarify, and I'm just a volunteer in the BCS. Although I have underneath me, I've got the sort of membership and member groups, and that includes code of conduct. I have a sort of governance responsibility in there. And I think that it is quite important for people to understand that it's not a club that you signed up to. A lot of people want, oh, what's my benefits? What am I getting? Well, that's not what you're signing up as a professional when you're signing up to a professional body. You're actually stating something in there. So here's a definition, lovely quote. A professional body is the guardian of standards, competence, and ethics within a profession. So that's what these bodies do. They're not there to give you freebies, etc. You know, you might get that, but fundamentally, that's what they're there for. And of course, this quote is from ChatGPT, which just shows that I'm just being a complete professional in what I'm doing. But it's just searching for answers now. That's what we use ChatGPT for. But I think I want to kind of highlight with this. You know, I'm a software engineer. Fundamentally, that's my background. I do formal methods as well. So it's about software correctness. When I used to teach, I don't really teach anymore in the position I'm in. When I taught formal methods back in Edinburgh, you might tell from the accent, I'm not from down here. They were building a bridge, you might know, the Queen's Ferry Crossing. And I used to talk about, you know, if we built bridges, how we built software, how we would build this bridge is we'd put it up, throw it up, then we'd get everyone in Edinburgh to jump up and down on it and see if it worked. Because that is fundamentally what we do with that. But you wouldn't accept that in a bridge, but somehow we accept that in software, in data. We almost just sort of go, it's fine, it will work out, it's okay. We've got some standards, some laws, etc. But we don't have necessarily that professional adherence that we have on there, I would argue, that you get in medicine. Engineering, you can sort of argue in different places. I stopped making that joke about the bridge, by the way, because when they did finish it, the first thing they did was they ran a ballot so everyone in Edinburgh could cross it as the first sort of thing. It seemed a bit too real of maybe how they were testing the bridge. Now, going back to anyone, that is a member of a professional body, why are you a member? Anyone want to give me an answer for why you've become a member of a professional body? Go for it. No, it's fine. Nobody else put the hand up. Everyone else is a bit. You want the badge. You want the badge. Okay. You want the badge. Okay. Fair enough. You want the badge. Okay. So what standards and ethics have you agreed to? And do you adhere to them? Do you know? But that's yeah, but what have you agreed to in your code? So if you're a BCS member, what is the code of conduct? Do you know? What's it say about data and access to data? Again, you know, and sorry, because you spoke up, it's unfortunate, but you've got the badge. Have you got the behavior? Are you a professional? And that's one of the challenges I think we are doing. For those of you who aren't professional body members, why not? Anyone want to tell me why you're not a professional body member? Anyone? Or have you gone quiet because I'm asking the hard question and you don't want to kind of go, oh. I mean, the follow-on question from that would have been, you know, don't you agree with this? As a professional person working in this discipline, in our discipline of whatever it is in IT, don't you agree that we need to be ethical and work to standards? Or do you think, whatever, I'll do what I want? You know, and I think that's a question a lot of us should ask ourselves in there. Just to kind of help you, the BCS Code of Conduct, so you can take a quick read. But it does talk quite a lot about, you know, you're not meant to disclose information. You are meant to ensure you are disclosing information that maybe would be a problem. You're not meant to misrepresent. There's a whole collection of stuff in there about this. And I think there's a difference as well. A lot of people get a sort of mix up. There's the code of ethics. So there is an ethical statement that the BCS has. Well, it comes from the Engineering Council, which the BCS is one of the agreeers of. But a code of conduct, this is actually, you know, don't behave like this, kick you out as a member. Now, if you worked in medicine and that happened, guess what? You don't get to be a doctor anymore. But we don't have that. So it's okay that your banking system that has all your money has been written by somebody and is maintained by somebody. And it doesn't matter if they do a bad job or if they do something unethical or steal your money. It's okay. They can go somewhere else and do it at another bank instead. But we do have, I would think, a problem of how we work as a sort of sector, as an industry in there. And it's part of it is because we're quite new. I want to talk about accessing data as well. And this is particular related to a scenario we often get in the BCS from our volunteers, etc. But I also get this in university contexts. So you could change that access to member data to student data for whatever. I want to access the member data for our local region. And this is the general strategy I think a lot of people should do. Well, what for? And they go, oh, what do you mean? Oh, so I want to slice it and dice it and explore it. Okay, well done. What for? Oh, and again, not really coming out to the final answer. Oh, I want to understand the demographics of our membership. Okay, what for? And again, people are just, I want the data, give me the data. I want this data, I'm entitled to the data, or this data, I should have it. I'm an IT professional, give me the data. And that's not the answer we have. We have, you know, well, what for? I want to put on better events for the members in the local region. That's the final answer we generally get to in BCS member group land. And then we turn around and say, okay, fair enough, we'll provide an aggregated snapshot of it. And that's the, you know, that's when they get, oh, because they're not getting what they wanted, which was, I just want access to the data and do what I want with it, as opposed to, or email people or send out messages or do whatever. They are actually doing a thing where they're giving, you know, just an aggregated snapshot of things. So yeah, we just want data. Processing and storing data, we're really bad. We're absolutely terrible at this. You know, I can see some of my team here that are got a security background, and they will quite happily tell you how terrible we are at this. You know, that's why we have like national cybersecurity centers and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, processing data, the data we have is completely biased, and yet we just think throwing more data makes it unbiased. And that's just not true. You know, the data is biased because the data is biased. Throwing more biased data on top of biased data is not a solution. So we have to accept this. And there's a couple of examples there. The ones I always talk about is the Amazon's AI hiring bias one, because basically, if you're a woman, Amazon wouldn't hire you as a software engineer because they didn't have many women and they used the current CVs of their current staff. And so the AI was trained to recognize who's a woman or not. That's all that happened. AI sentencing data. So this happens quite a lot in the US, determining what your sentence should be given for a crime, almost always based on what your ethnic background is, it will sentence you accordingly. So you could be a crazy person who looks like me, and it'll go, yeah, but you know, you're white and you're middle class, so you probably won't reoffend. And you could be the most well-to-do person of color, from a great background, great education, who did one thing wrong one night out. Wow, you're going to jail for 20 years because you're a repeat offender. And that's where we have these problems, you know, and we do need to accept and recognize this as professionals, and we do need to say this. When it comes to, I like to pull out the dating one. I couldn't find the actual one. There was a recent dating app, which it was all women that were kind of the ones that would go and actually approach. So men weren't allowed to actually communicate directly, they'd have to go in. But to prove you're a woman, you had to basically put up a photo of yourself, and it was all meant to be protected. It was on an Amazon data bucket, it was completely unprotected, with including geolocation data, and somebody just got it and it's all been downloaded. So there's all these pictures of women with their actual location of where they live in the US, just out there. And this happened because somebody threw up something and didn't think about or didn't care about the actual data protection in there as well. And then, of course, I think the lovely thing we have just now with the new generative AI, we just misuse stuff. So this was in the news this morning, if you didn't catch it, Obama getting arrested, of course. But I think, you know, that is a growing concern for a lot of people right now, is that, well, what is real? Because we can get anything coming out that's real. For anyone that's kind of involved in organizations of any level and talks to any legal teams, one of the challenges right now is that because of AI generation, people will generate claims and grievances, all sorts of things, by basically getting the AI to generate information, get the text, etc., right for suiting them and what they want to portray. And it tells them, oh yeah, you've totally got this, and it really gives them confidence. So you've basically got this noise has come into the system. And it's no different in software engineering as well. Everyone's like, all of a sudden they can write software because guess what? The AI is great at generating text. Who wants to trust an AI to write the software for the plane they're flying in? Anyone want to volunteer? Anyone? Again, you know, let's be realistic. Yeah, there are cases where this is fine, but unfortunately, we don't define this very well. It's the difference between, it's okay for me to put up flat pack furniture from IKEA at home. You're not going to let me build a bridge across the Thames and hope it works. You know, I'm not qualified. Let's be real about these things. So I think we can all agree we need to be better. I think there's enough examples, and if you don't believe that we need to be better, it's not your problem, then I don't know how to appeal to you. It's almost like, you know, this is, or whatever. But honestly, we do need to be better. I want to talk very quickly to wrap up about some things that are ongoing. So degree standards. So almost everyone in the world who qualifies with a computing qualification qualifies with one that is recognized by the Seoul Accord. Who's heard of the Seoul Accord before? Anyone? Seoul Accord is an agreement between a number of the professional bodies, accrediting bodies in the world, about what the degree standards are for computing. BCS, ABET, obviously South Korea's in there. I think China's a provisional signatory. This is a setting of a standard across the world that is there. So when you get accreditation for your courses, this is what you're doing. You're getting a standard that is internationally recognized. And indeed, I think it's still the case that if you want to get visas into Australia and New Zealand, Seoul Accord degree is worth points on the system. You know, this is that level of recognition. But it's got a couple of things in there that is about, you know, what's expected. So again, internationally, it's not like, you know, I'm talking, oh, this is just a British thing or whatever. This is internationally agreed. We need to be better at the societal, the health, the safety, the legal, cultural. We need to think about the ethics, the responsibilities, etc. But, and this is what we expect our students to have. And I sort of challenge again, do we all believe we're acting like this? Because if you're not, if you're not, one, a professional body member, and two, know what you've actually agreed to, do you actually think that you're just teaching the students one thing and behaving differently? Again, if you worked in other professions, would that be acceptable? Other things that have gone on again, and one of the problems is that, people are not always good at promoting stuff that goes on. I don't know if you've heard of the Alliance for Data Science Professionals. So this is about trying to standardize what data science means within degrees in the UK, very much like the BCS did for computing degrees, because somebody needed to do it. Otherwise, it'd be a wild west of craziness. Trying to do it in the same for data science. And this is a coming together, as you can see, of the RSS is there, the BCS is there, Royal Society. This is about setting a standard and expectation for people working in these disciplines in there. A bit more hot off the press as well in there from, you might have seen this a couple of days ago. There's a new consortium to build trust, AI assurance in the UK. So the BCS is leading on that as well, and really trying to get the UK to be on top of this rather than, oh, it's just a thing. Let's not actually be ethical and professional in what we do. And then again, other news stories. You might not have heard of FedIP. So this is in the NHS. Basically now any senior clinical informatician, is that what they call them? But basically senior IT people in the NHS are now expected to meet a professional standard. And it's FedIP, which is an agreement with the BCS as well on there. And one of the reasons why are because the doctors are sitting there going, but we have a professional standard to meet. We have got these things. We get struck off. Why are you not getting that? Why can you behave in the way you want to and it's not an issue? So again, this professionalism is coming in more and more, I would think, as we're seeing in other places. So just to kind of, wrap up. And like I said, I think there is a problem we have, but, I think we do need to expect or put an expectation from what we expect for people to use our data. What's the standards we're expecting? How are we actually maintaining this and controlling this? How do we ensure people behave professionally and ethically? It can't just be, oh, I've got a degree in computing. Well done. Congrats. That doesn't say anything. It doesn't say that you're ethical. It says you were taught ethics. It doesn't say you're ethical in what you're doing. And how are we all going to change? I've sort of asked that question. And, a few people, I'm a professional body member. Only one person was willing to put their hand up and say, oh, I kind of think I know what that means. And I think I know what I'm adhering to, although I did give you a hard time about knowing what you've actually agreed to. But again, if you just want the badge, there's plenty of other clubs that give you badges for all sorts of things. But are you there to state, I'm a professional in there? So, it's not just passing the buck. So that's it. Thank you, everyone. But I will suggest some light reading. So if you've not, I'm just listening. I was just listening to that just now on Audible. That's why that one's up there. But Wendy, I know Wendy, and she's been doing these books that are basically there for kids, and she does things for seniors as well to try and help them understand using data and what it means. And quite an interesting one with the what she hears from people that are pensioners, etc., who fall for scams. Or they panic because they're like, I'm going to get put in a home, and they're really worried about these things. So I think, we have a job again to help in the younger generation, older generation. But I could go on for ages, but thanks everyone. And I think we're doing lunch after me, but yeah. It's newer than the Washington Accord, because the Washington Accord is the Engineering Council one. So the BCS has actually signed up through Engineering Council through that as well. Seoul Accord was a specific one for IT and computing that was in there. So it was formed in 2008. But again, if you look, there's like the big players were the original signatories. So BCS, ABET, set the standard around the world for what's expected. Yeah. Can I flip that question and say, why would you be told this? Because that's unethical for us to tell you if we struck somebody off. Yeah. So it is an interesting thing. There are basically sits under my governance area of the BCS. So there are rules and regulations, there are processes to do this. Unfortunately, somebody needs to report people. So unless you report unethical behavior, and again, this is the challenge I think we have, and I don't think necessarily people, one, we don't have this, you must be registered to be able to do computing stuff. So there's almost no threat there to strike somebody off. So if somebody, like a customer, complained about somebody with a BCS member, does it change anything? So I think there's a bit more of our expectation as, a group of professionals, but what we'd expect people to do and how they expect them to behave. Yeah. Thank you.
That was a very, very interesting presentation. Could I please request Chris and Ashish to come and yes, and present a shawl to our esteemed guest. They are very interesting, actually. Very interesting. Yes. Okay, we'll move on to our next keynote presentation. Which, okay. So thank you, Professor Kevin. It's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker. Our next speaker is Dr. Ravinder Singh Zandu. Dr. Zandu is head of digital and systems within the government commercial function at the UK Cabinet Office. He brings extensive leadership experience across digital transformation, AI, machine learning, Internet of Things, robotic process automation, blockchain technologies, enterprise architecture, cybersecurity, and information assurance. Throughout his distinguished career, he has led large-scale digital and technology programs with budgets of up to 1.5 billion. His experience spans both the public and private sectors, working with organizations and governments around the world, including the World Bank and UK government, and projects across Europe, Asia, Africa, and South America. His expertise has supported sectors as diverse as defense, telecommunications, banking and financial services, software development, research and development, and energy utilities. Alongside his professional achievements, Dr. Zandu is an active contributor to research and innovation. He holds 2 software copyrights and has authored numerous research publications and was nominated for the prestigious Shri Devang Mehta National Award for Innovation in Information Technology in India. He is also co-author of the book Model-Driven Business Process Engineering. Dr. Zandu is passionate about harnessing emerging technologies to drive innovation, improve organizational performance, and deliver meaningful societal impact. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Ravinder Singh Zandu. Thank you.
Welcome.
Good afternoon. I thought just to give you a futuristic approach on quantum computing, that what we are doing within the government and where the world is going around quantum computing, as well as communication and what we are doing in the government and how we are supporting this journey across. So quantum computing probably so you have seen this picture around the world for quantum computer, which is in the, of course, with the big companies, IBM, Google, Microsoft, they all have this. But how do I access this system? Because this is available in the environment, which is sub-zero temperatures, and it cannot be available in the labs. And as we call of qubits, superposition of states, which you might have studied. I don't want to emphasize more on that, but I will come into more of that, how and why it's beyond the binary. The computing which we know today is zeros and ones, on and off. That's how we studied digital electronics. And all the computing, all the computers, all the processors are based on this. But nature is not digital. Nature is not zeros and one, and it's not classical, and nature is continuous. If you plant a tree, it's not 0 and 1. Today you plant a seed and tomorrow it grows up. It takes its time. And how those states which are in between, that is where quantum helps, because we are now doing from zeros and ones into the actual closer to the nature, that states can be superimposed. And that's where it will give you the advantage that multiple parallelism, multiple threading, how it has improved and why it can solve the complex problems. Because we earlier had simple programming, linear programming or serial from Visual Basic to Fortran to C. Then came C++ with the object-oriented, right? Data encapsulation and other things started. And then it came to multi-threading, multitasking. If you don't write the code in the right way, then you cannot use the capabilities of the processor. So similarly here, if I have to use that capabilities of quantum, I need to start rethinking in terms of that it's not zeros and ones anymore. And it will change your style of computing, thinking, communication. And just to give you a snapshot, quantum gates, qubits, entanglement, and superposition. These are the common terms which you will hear around quantum computing. And you must study them, that what it means to you. Because the gates will be changing. The processing is changing. And if you don't understand that, so you have to unlearn and relearn the new terminologies as well as new way of computing. So that's why we try to put people into that it can solve complex problems, speed and efficiency, and industry. UK government, we have got a 2.5 billion pounds budget, which you have given to the quantum initiative. You can search on gov.uk, you will get about it. Innovation fund is available to you. You can apply to the UKRI, Innovate UK and others and get that funding. It's 2.5 billion pounds, not small. So you have heard about Shor's algorithm maybe. How many of you have heard about Shor's algorithm? Okay. PNP, bounded error, polynomials, quantum polynomials, binomials, everyone has studied in maths. Let's come to the quantum polynomials now. And that's where global industry is projected to grow to $8.6 billion by 2027. It's not far, just 1 year. Every organization is investing. It's not the big tech companies, financial institutions also. JP Morgan, Barclays, HSBC, they are all funding it. Automobile industry, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, they are all investing. And I will show you the case studies where they are investing. So what it happens is, I've taken 3 areas here only: finance, healthcare, and energy. Pharmaceutical research, I'll show you one example from AstraZeneca, how they are using it. Finance, risk assessment, portfolio optimization. Currently, it's being used, AI, machine learning, generative AI models are being used for portfolio optimization. Investment bankers are using. Earlier, investment bankers had 5 screens working with, okay, it's a Bloomberg, LSE, New York Stock Exchange, and this and that, and so that they can make the better investments. But now agentic AI is helping them to do that job. When the banks have started using agents to write the code which can take decisions quickly enough. You don't need 5 screens and an investment banker. So they are teaching those models. Cybersecurity models, GRC consultants are training the models so that an agent can do the same role, right? So those jobs, I'm not saying they are at stake, but the job profile will change. Now you have to train the models. And we always say Alan Turing's test for AI is still not complete, right? The statement. When it is going to, machine is going to overtake human, right? That test is still valid. And I always say, if you have to start with any technology, any generative AI or quantum, think that it's a child. You have to train that child. And what the challenge everyone has got is, oh, I got a ChatGPT. We got this problem, challenge with our ministers and others. Oh, everyone, oh, this has come. Now we can write business cases. We can write policy. We can write this. We can do this, and it will be efficient. We don't need this. Sorry, you have not trained the model yet. You have not trained it to do the things. Where is the data behind it? Right? ChatGPT made an impact because it had 5 years of data behind it. So think of that. You have to put that effort to bring that to an adulthood where it can take the decisions for you. So quantum is still, I would say, at the nascent stage or a child stage where you can exploit and train it to be an adult, to do your work. Portfolio optimization, how it has been used. So this is basically where HSBC has started using it. Barclays has started using it. JP Morgan for the risk analysis, where they are investing. Cryptography, as we say, all your data, which is currently the maximum encryption which is available to you is RSA, how many bits? Sorry. No, 2048. The highest encryption available for you today is RSA 2048 bit, right? That's the highest encryption. With the quantum coming into play, that maximum encryption, if you have to break it now with the current algorithm in the classical computer, if I want to say, it may take you a week or so, or 10 days or 20 days, maybe, depending on the power which you have got with the machines or with the supercomputer. With the quantum, the prediction is it may take 15 minutes to 8 hours. So all the data which you have today encrypted to the highest standard, and nobody is using the highest standard. Most of the people are using up to 128. 256 very rarely if you have a space data or a defense data or somewhere. Nobody's going to 2048-bit. And that's why currently organizations, state actors, non-state actors are using is aggregating the data. They are trying to get the data as much as possible with them. That's what ChatGPT is doing. That's what Gemini, Claude, other tools are doing. Because data will be an asset at that point of time, they can exploit it. Any non-state actor will be able to hold organization to a ransom or a country to a ransom. Think from that angle. That's why people are troubled with this, that let quantum encryption comes, and that's where banks have started already the quantum encryption algorithms testing. So you have the algorithms you can test. It may not give you that speed or solve the problem in the same time, which you think it could, but at least you can test it for its accuracy. And then when you have the quantum computer available to you, then it will be applicable. So you are ready for the future. And why we say that you have to do it, because currently the challenge which we have got with the quantum computers is, of course, the errors rates. Case studies from Google to D-Wave system, where Volkswagen has done that. Collaboration with banks, IBM is giving you the computer slots, timings. Google is giving you the times. So they are all available to you. So please use that opportunity to exploit that. This is already in shape, right? This is already people are doing it. So don't be left behind for that. So the challenge is what we have got. First one is scalability. Let's go beyond that. First one I will put is error rates. Currently, the algorithms which are there, they are prone to errors. Anybody who can work on improving the algorithms, that they are less generating less errors, they will be the leader. One area. Second area is reducing the cost. Because currently quantum is available in sub-zero temperatures. I will show you the timelines which we are thinking, and we are working with the industry that what timeline it is going to be. So reducing that it can be available as a desktop to you. Large number of reliable qubits is still a challenge. And of course, the speed. Current computers are 5 gigahertz, 7 gigahertz. Quantum speed is 40 gigahertz minimum. So generating those qubits is a challenge. So please, if you can start working on that, funds are available from EU research, from UK, from other countries. Every country is putting funds. Use them. Some of the new operators, you have heard about AND gate, NAND gate, OR gate, NOR gate, whatever, XOR. Please start familiarizing with these. That's why I say you have to unlearn and relearn, because that's a big challenge. When I started, it's a big challenge because you start thinking in zeros and ones always. And this is where you will get a challenge, that how you can use them. So please try to familiarize yourself, your students, research, that how these are to be used. Because that is where its actual capability can be exploited. Then types of computations, they're all available to you. From commutation of quantum gates to commutative, non-commutative, optimal, minimizing, maximizing. So these terms, you should start working on it. What does it mean? How can I use it? Like when object-oriented programming came, people were, how the data is encapsulated, right? What's the object? Object-oriented databases came up, visual databases came up, and so on, right? Each has a different way of storing and getting the data, right? So think from that angle. When the pointers came, if I ask what are the pointers, what does it mean? How does it reduce the storage? How does it reduce the speed? Go to the basics. Future prospects which we have, noisy intermediate scale quantum, current phase, fault tolerant, as I said, reduce the error rates. We have US national funding, we have UK government funding, EU government funding. Each is putting billions of dollars. Huge funds are available. Please ask your professors and universities to get into that. And corporate investments, of course, IBM, Google, Microsoft, everyone is putting it. And what's the time frame which we are thinking? So noisy to fault tolerant. So 1940 is you have vacuum tubes. Then we come to personal computing, to global interconnectivity with internet, then to the quantum utility area. And those are the big breakthroughs. Goal is reaching 1,000 logical error-corrected qubits by 2029. You want to be part of this? Please be part of this. If you can generate that faster than anyone, you can have millions of dollars. People will throw money at you. This is what the roadmap looks like for us with the industry. Currently, we don't have, it's only in the labs with the IBM, Microsoft, and others. Some small organizations have started, which I am working with in UK, France, small to medium enterprises. They have started manufacturing things. 5 to 10 years, we are thinking that quantum computers will be available in the labs. Of course, in the controlled environment, but in the labs. Slightly bigger infrastructure, like earlier we used to had. And in 10 to 15 years, by 2035, we are projecting that you may have got a desktop quantum computer. This is what industry and research is going towards. And it's not a long-term goals which we are thinking. It's achievable. And beyond computing, everyone is quantum computing, stick to that. Beyond computing is quantum internet, which communication channels, quantum communication channels. How many of you have started working on this? China has the lead in it. I can tell you, they are working on quantum communication channels, quantum key distribution, and quantum sensing. Because if I have to exploit, the sensors also have to change. So China is already a leap better than other countries, I would say. Because whosoever exploits the encryption and communication will be leading the next generation of communication. You are talking of 6G today. That will be completely different. All your communication, again, your data at rest, data in transit is all exploited, exposed. But who can do the more secure communication via satellite, via wires, via fiber optics, whichever way, they will be leading the next wave of computing, generations, and intranet or internet. The challenge which we have got currently is with the carbon emissions around quantum. You can work on this area. One of these areas of working is sustainability, because the current computers, they take 1 to 2 kilowatts power, but quantum computer may take 25 kilowatts per system because it requires sub-zero temperatures. That's the biggest challenge that it has got at the moment. That's why the companies are working towards to make it at least in a controlled environment, which is not sub-zero. So please, if you can work on that, massive area for you to reap in and make your own company. So pharmaceutical research, Biogen and Accenture Labs in 2024. Why we stress that? It's very, very important because with the quantum computer, the simulations become very easy. All the complex problems, drug discoveries, pharmaceutical research becomes easier. Think of COVID drug. Think of that. It took us around Oxford University, which came up the first one, 6 months to come up with a COVID drug, right? If we had quantum computers available, it may have taken an hour or so for the similar research. Think of that. And of course, the con side is also there, but let's ignore those. But what are the positives it is bringing? And they have drug discovery, 10 plus years and billions of dollars with 90% failure rate. And what they did was so they created in silico to in vivo key matrix quantum simulations, how it can improve verified quantum enabled method for molecule comparison. And they saved a lot of time, saved a lot of, so 28 times the speed with the current classical computers, only going into the quantum algorithms. So think of if quantum computers were available, what could have it achieved? Error rate was down and so on. So this is ability to simulate human digital twins also for personalized side effect testing. So I can create a twin of yours or mine and then do the testing on it before I give the drug. So I can see what the side effects it could generate. And it will be quicker. It will not take time. And AstraZeneca, they are all working on it and within NVIDIA and Ionic. So it's there. The YTQ crisis, year two computing, as we call it, Y2Q, year two computing crisis, post-quantum cryptography is a challenge, as I explained earlier. Once you have gone into it, harvest now, decrypt later. That's why all the malicious sectors are trying to gather the data as much as possible. So don't give out your data so easily. We have started using Gemini, Copilot, and Claude in government, but with a very restrictive access. We have our own LLMs, private LLMs, also generated for civil servants. And we have published an AI playbook. If you want to download, we have published AI playbook, which is available on gov.uk. I was one of the authors for that, generative AI framework also. Please use them. It gives you the guidelines for how you can make it safe. Intelligence multiplier, which you can use, and financial and finance and logistics. As I said, HSBC, JP Morgan, IBM, D-Wave, Volkswagen, they're all using it. So please, you use this time because that's where we have got from the classical world, if I can call it now, to the quantum leap, if you have to take. Please start using that quantum bridge. Start using post-quantum computing, encryption algorithms. They are all available to you. Start using them, start exploiting them, making them more efficient and more usable to the industry. Whosoever can do that at a rate less, they will be the leader. And as I said, I am working with some SMEs who have a manufacturing unit in UK and France for some of the equipment for quantum computing. So but I can't share at the moment because they want to keep it secretive, because they want to take the lead. Any questions? Yes, please. So are you working on error rate reduction or what you are working on? So that can be tested. It may not give you the speed, but it can be tested that the number of errors you are getting out of it are lesser than what the previous version is. If you can work on that. And if you want to access IBM or other facilities, they are open for those research purposes. And you can tell them, this is what I am researching on, and I would like to have some time with you. They are happy to give those times. IBM has a quantum computer in Waterloo. Yeah. Then you have to work on the material science. That how that material science can work to reduce that qubits don't require sub-zero temperatures. Because that's the construction of the computer. That has to change. So that's a material science subject, which you can work with material science people to reduce that power. Like we came from the silicon, and initially you had desktops, then it came to laptops, notebooks, or now mobile phones, even they are powerful computers, small computer. Because the technology has changed, material science has changed over there. Lithium-ion batteries came up, but what's the next? Batteries, which can give more power. And don't think this helium gas is required to manufacture chips. The war is not simple. And everyone wants to control the helium also. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I think they can, but with some partner within the UK. So with the UK RI funds, if you have a partner in UK and then you can have a researcher outside, then you can tap into it. Oh, oh, I can share you the links then. Yeah, I can share you the links. That's not a problem. Yeah. Yeah. Which university? Sorry, I'm not from London, Matt. Sorry. No, I am from Civil Services UK. Yeah, sorry. So that question you have to take with the universities. Yeah. Yeah. Are you thinking of encryption side of privacy or just the privacy side of the GDPR? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we can take it offline. I think that's an interesting area to work on. But how we can use the encryption here in quantum, because already quantum encryption algorithms are in place, then how you can use them for your differential privacy. And I need to think of it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Really stimulate. No, we don't have any computers. We use IBMs. We use Google to do that. So you have to work with them to get that access. We, as a government, we don't want to invest in infrastructure which we are not going to use. Like we asked, we had on premises for every government, all the data was on premise servers and everything. We forced, I was part of that workforce, when we asked every department to be on the public cloud, get rid of on-prem servers. To save the cost, save the patching, save the legacy systems and everything. So everything is on AWS or Amazon, or sorry, Azure or Google Cloud now in the UK government at least. All your data is on those clouds, right? Public clouds. Of course, we have our SLAs and what's the parameters, we have set that. That is saving cost plus bringing efficiencies. So we don't want to go into investing into the infrastructure, but we would like to use the infrastructure for betterment. So that's where we won't want to invest. We will facilitate that. Yeah. Any other? I'm here for whole day and we can have a talk in the networking sessions, no problems. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Yeah, you can carry on with your discussion during lunchtime. I'm sure you'll get a lot of opportunity. And with this, I'll take the pleasure to introduce our final keynote speaker, Professor Monomita Nandi. Professor Nandi is a professor at Brunel University, London, and has held a number of senior academic leadership positions, including Vice Dean International for the College of Business, Arts and Social Sciences, Director of Internationalization and Director of the Postgraduate Program at Brunel Business School. Her academic journey is truly international. She holds 2 PhDs, one from the University of Kolkata in India and another from the University of Rome, Tar Vergata in Italy. Before joining Brunel, she held academic and research appointments at institutions across the world, including Lally Business School in New York, Redbourne University, the University of Surrey, and several leading universities in India. Professor Nandi is widely recognized for her commitment to excellence in teaching and student engagement. She has received student-led Best Teacher Awards and has been recognized for innovative and technology-enhanced approaches to education. Her research spans a range of interdisciplinary areas with particular interest in digitization, sustainable development goals, and emerging issues in corporate finance. Through her work, she continues to contribute to important debates on how technology, business, and sustainability can come together to address global challenges. Please join me in giving a very warm welcome to Professor Monomita Nandi.
It's a long introduction. So I will. I don't need that was it. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this invitation, and thank you to Professor Bal for introducing me to this lovely audience and lots of interesting research. And I was following the last sessions and the talks. These are really related to my own research, and I always try to find out a gap between social scientists and the people with technical knowledges. So it's a really nice platform, actually. So thank you for the lovely introduction. It was quite broad, but in very briefly, I work around digitalization and addressing different sustainable development goals. I mainly focus on climate change and renewable energy. I work around hydrogen, and I also work around application of machine learning, explainable AI. You can see all those papers on my profile. And I try to use those for forecasting, portfolio optimization, and all those things. I also started working on quantum, but we are still not there. So moving forward, so this talk is all about how we will use the advanced technologies in sustainability reporting. Just like the technology, it's really important that the companies need to run their business, and to run their business they need money. Okay, and whatever technologies you are developing or wherever you are applying, you need money, right? So we will talk about money and money, how to generate money. So here every company needs to report their sustainability activities, and this is not anymore voluntary activities. It's essential now. And even if the regulators are not making it mandatory, the stakeholders like us, the technology developer, then the investors, they are asking more information about non-financial activities done by the businesses. So it's really important to understand how the company could survive, how they could make money or profit through their activities, and they have to produce this sustainability reports for their business to please the stakeholders. So there are different stakeholders. You can imagine that there are investors, there are clients, there are customers. So there are different stakeholders. So why this topic matters now? Before I get into the details, I would like to stress on this keyword, which is interoperability. What does it mean? That the reporting standards, the digital system, the data, all should come together, and we need to move together to exchange, generate the data, generate the information that is needed by the stakeholders. And we have to be really careful. The information that we are generating, it can be easily exchanged. It can be compared among companies all over the world. And it should be analyzed in such a way that we are not losing the actual meaning of the data. Okay, so it's not like I say I'm doing something good around, I'm planting 100 trees all over the world, but actually I'm not reporting it properly. And even if I'm reporting, the message is not coming out properly. So if that is the case, then you will not be able to get enough investment for your business. So that's a key message I would like to deliver here. So sustainability reporting is now entering a digitally enabled era. So why is it so? Because we have to use the technology to generate data for the company and to analyze that data for the company. And then we have to provide that data or information to our stakeholders. So in every step, of a company life cycle, any kind of business. It could be small business, it could be big business. We need data. We need structured data, and which are machine readable. Because as Dr. Jandu was mentioning that all the big finance companies these days, they are using machine readable data. So we have to generate that data. Previously, it was voluntary, and it is still voluntary, the sustainability reporting in different countries. But say, for example, I was involved in developing the sustainability reporting framework for Indian government, and that model is now mandatory for top 1,000 companies. So from 2022. So if those companies are going beyond their borders, or even a small company, or if you are a startup, you might think that your product or your service are having high demand in another region, maybe in Australia. So you have to follow their reporting structure. And even for the very small companies, it's really essential these days that there is no mandatory framework for them. But they have to produce this report. Why? The stakeholders are not at all interested in the financial figure only. So they are asking the companies, what are the non-financial activities you are performing in your business, and how that is translated in financial terms. So that's the gap. The main gap in this world, today's world, is we are not having enough knowledge how to translate the non-financial activities in financial term. And that's why people are getting really worried that how to analyze the sustainability of this business. Are they going to survive for long term? If they are not taking care of environment, if they are not taking care of the society, if they don't have a proper governance mechanism, which goes back to the ethical side of the data. So if they are not taking care of E, S, and G, they cannot survive. Okay. So that's why the regulators are converging on structured, interoperable, assured disclosure. They are asking for assured information, and which can converge from financial side, non-financial side to financial side. So you have to put a number on each and every activities, non-financial activities you are performing in your business. And then technology is essential there, because with technology only, we can enhance the accuracy level, and we can do comparison among the data, and it could help us to do the audit activities. Say, for example, what the other speakers were talking about, previous days, the financial companies, they used to have different screens in front of them. Now they're doing it in one screen using the technology. Okay. And comparability. These days are like we are operating in a global market. Every companies are looking, operating beyond their national borders, most of them. So they need to compare, like if I'm an investor, I have 5 million pounds with me. I don't have that money. But say, for example, if I have that 5 million money and you all have one company, how I would determine where to put my money? So it's very competitive and it's very difficult. We all are doing almost similar things, and we are having slight differences in our operations. So we have to have a technology or a cluster of technologies that could help us. Help us means the investors, the clients, and everyone, the other stakeholders, to compare this data and provide the, it's a big challenge for the assurance provider actually. They are very scared to assure any company if they cannot audit properly. I got a research paper where what we saw that if we use the blockchain technology, we can keep a proper track of all the transactions. So in previous days, when the auditors comes in, they will ask you this data, that data. Now you are doing 24/7 trading. So how you will provide them with enough eligible data, I would say. So you have to use a mechanism or a technology that will record all your transaction. If some transactions are not done ethically, you should block that transaction. Your system should have that capacity that you are dealing with the ethical side of the data also. So that's why it is really important to understand how to use the technologies here. Now, how come, like here I'm talking about financial reporting, but actually I will come to the sustainability reporting. So there are two aspects of any business. They have financial reporting and they have sustainability reporting. These days, you will see companies are not talking about financial risk or sustainability risk. They are talking about corporate risk. So what this corporate risk means, any kind of risk where it's related to their financial activities and non-financial activities. So technology is nothing new in reporting or accounting or finance world. It started long back. So if you see the Luca Pacioli, so this guy is a mathematician like you all. So he was not at all the inventor of this bookkeeping system in accounting. So what he did in Italy before him, like around 1200 or so, lots of tradings were happening in the Europe. And so what he did, he took all the merchant data and he kind of decoded them. So when it comes to decoding or coding, means it is technology, right? So that time he was doing it manually and he kind of systemized the trading related data, because those days mostly it was a barter system that you give me 5 clothes and I will give you some food products. So it was very difficult to maintain the record properly. So he kind of found a way of maintaining this double entry system. What is coming in, what is going out, how to balance that, how you can see how many more items you need in future to maintain your profit. Then I'm not going through all those details, but we knew that over years, we started using Excel, then we started learning how to create columns, rows, how to filter our activities, how to save in our OneDrive or other places. So things moved very fast here. And then that's why, based on this development, all the governments are now moving towards mandates in structured digital data from companies to avoid the companies to fail. Yeah, and avoid the companies to get more problem from the investors. So in the UK, this XBRL is mandatory. In the EU, it is mandatory. I'm not getting into US, but in other countries also, they are now mandating this XBRL. Now here, what I try to say that how you can, this is another important word, digital taxonomy. So we need a structured dictionary of reporting concepts. And there you have to tag the disclosures in XBRL. So if you check the XBRL reporting framework, it's all tagging. So it's just hyperlinked. And if you are operating from other country in the UK, you have to report to HMRC, you have to take care of FCA, and you have to follow the XBRL. They won't accept any other reporting style or mechanism. In the EU, if you are reporting around CSRD, that's the sustainability reporting, that is also need to be tagged properly in XBRL format. Global reporting all over the world, whatever reporting standard they are following, Most of them, the basic is GRI, Global Reporting Initiatives. And this GRI said that from 2025, by December, all the companies needs to follow this XBRL. So what does it mean? We need you to work with us in the finance and use the different technologies in automating our ESG data. It's already happening. It's not something very new. It's already happening. Then you will see a couple of papers I have done on machine learning where we try to collect the data from the reporting. And then we also did something on IoT where you can create a real-time emission data. You need real-time data to convince your stakeholders, to convince your investors. And then many companies, many startups and big companies are now developing different kind of AI generated platform where you can get the real-time data to predict, and then you want to see that how the forecasting would look like. So these are a couple of examples that how you can use the technology. So you might be thinking, then what is the relation with reporting over here? If the companies are doing all those things, applying the technology, they are generating the data, applying the technology, they are doing green activities and generating the data that they are reporting in their reports, and then applying the technology, we are assessing that data, analyzing that data to feed in this reporting framework. So these are a couple of examples from Google AI and two other companies. So what is the EU views? EU want the connectivity. They want to see that how your business is collecting non-financial activities and putting a value and generating the financial information. So it is mandatory now. And in the UK, it is based on the Sustainable Standard Board IFRS S1 and S2. What is in very simple term, if you don't understand the accounting side of it. So what is S1? S1 covers almost all the things, governance and everything. S2 is climate related disclosure, scope 1, 2, and 3. I know many of you are working around scope 3. It's really important if you have a business or if you are working with the business, and try to tell them their transition plan towards the net zero and help them to do the scenario analysis. And only technology can do all those things. Scope 3, without technology, scope 1, we can still go ahead. So comply or explanation will start from 2027. It's not too far. By next year, all the UK companies need to follow that. And as I said, GRI already started. This is another interesting area that we are working on, biodiversity reporting. It already started. We got the framework. Climate change reporting following the 102 will start from 2027. Energy 2027. So these are all XBRL-based reporting. So there is enough scope for you all, the technology people, tech people, to work with the finance sector to produce this. Then there was a big concern around the assurance. Now we already got this assurance framework. So the companies could be very much sure that, okay, things are going in right direction. We got the framework to compare. And in this way, the technology could help in generating the assured data and provide assurance. And so where is the future? We have to integrate the financial and sustainability reporting. You all have to help the company, or if you are developing your company or planning to start a company, you have to have this type of mechanism. You have to follow the mandatory digital tagging, and the you have to maintain the global interoperability so that anywhere you are operating, you can go with that. So this is the last slide that I want to focus on. So technology is not just enhancing the data, it is redefining the corporate transparency. So we need the digitally structured data. We need assurance. We need the interoperability and machine readable data that could help us to make useful decision making. So thank you very much. So let us collaborate then. And that's the main point, that we have to collaborate with social scientists. You can see all the Horizon call these days are asking for the social scientists, and I have seen the Quantum UKRI call, where also the international partners can also join those calls as a supplier also. So there also we need to work with the social scientists. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Nandi. Yes. Thank you, Professor Nandi. Now I would like to call Professor Karim to present certificates to our participants. And after certificate presentation, lunch will be served. So just few more moments. I'll not keep you long. Wait a few. Okay, so this is for our, pardon? So this is for EULA award ceremony. So this is International Universal Innovator Leadership Awards, or EULA Awards. We honor to determine, we are here to honor the efforts and achievements of chain makers who have made their performance and innovative excellence in their respective fields. It's a very special and unique setup involving international excellence awards in various categories. UI Leadership Awards creates worldwide recognition and reserves its space in society for the winning profiles. As such, it also gives participants an ideal opportunity to make their work visible to broader audience. Now it's being attended in online mode as well. Maximum of them are in online mode. And the very first, I have Professor Karim Ozan here with me on stage to present the awards. And the very first award goes for Excellence in Data Science, and it goes to Satish Kumar. Okay, the participants who are in online mode, I will announce their names. However, they are attending in online mode, so they know who they are. In online mode, AI in Healthcare Award goes to Rashad and S.A. Sabirual Mohsin Naim. Another award for AI in Operations and Supply Chain goes to Muhammad Imran Hussain and Nakul Bagchi. Award for AI in Real World Application goes to Deepankar Nandi and Novam Saxena. The next award goes to AI-driven Industrial Safety and Energy Systems Innovation Award. That goes to Muhammad Majrahul Islam. The award for Applied Analytics goes to Muhammad Zakaria Islam. AI Award for Critical Infrastructure Safety and Reliability goes to Ripan Kumar Pradhan. Best Interdisciplinary Research Award goes to Abdullah Al Mainum. And the Best PhD Thesis Award goes to Saika Anumula. Best Postdoctoral Research Award goes to Sheshang Degawala. Best Applied Research Award goes to Joyshri Biswas. Cyber Defense and Threat Intelligence Award goes to Muhammad Fahim Ahmed. Data Driven Decision Making Award goes to Krima Ashok Kumar Patel and Suman Das. Data Science, Analytics and Intelligence, Data Governance and Master Data Management Excellence Award goes to Ashok Meliampati. Data Transformation and Operational Management Analytics Award goes to Muhammad Faisal Ahmed. Excellence in Data Science Award goes to Michkant Omada Burima. Excellence is Artificial Intelligence Award goes to Nishanti Yuvaraja. Excellence in Emerging Technologies Award goes to Muhammad Aman Ullah Sani. Excellence is Intelligent Resource Management for Safety Critical Network goes to Manish Anand Yadav. Petroleum Infrastructure Engineering Safety and Systems Optimization Award goes to Sabuj Kumar Sahil. Predictive Analytics Excellence Award goes to Mohammad Badshah Nuruzaman Shaheen. Privacy Preserving Technology Award goes to Divya Sai Jaladi. Transdisciplinary Research Award with International Impact Award goes to Aditya Gupta. Women in Research Excellence Award goes to Ranjita Saini. Technology Leader with Outstanding Contribution in Digital Transformation Award goes to Chandra Kiran Muva. Best Research Paper Award goes to Malesh Deshpaga. This is for the online mode. With this, we have concluded the ceremony for the online mode, and we would like to express our sincere gratitude to the people who have joined us for the award ceremony online. Thank you so much. Okay, I think lunch is, oh yes, okay. So, yes. Yes, with, yes.
This side, Dr. Mulchan Sharma. So the participants who are connected in an online mode are
Yeah.
requested to leave now. This is all for the day for online participants. Thank you all for connecting with us. Alkaf, I request you to please end the meeting for online mode.